Welcome back to the Layover Podcast, the podcast you can listen to between your travels, when you're dreaming of travels,
or if you're just that little bit interested in the digital nomad, remote work, and travel content creation lifestyle.
My name is Michael, a digital business owner who runs a multi-six-figure business whilst being a full-time traveller, hoping to pass on some of my experience, successes, and failures as a full-time digital nomad.
And my name's Josie, a travel content creator running a travel-based YouTube, TikTok, and everything else social media business, ready to give you a peek behind the curtain of an industry where people don't often give you the whole truth. All right, so we are back for episode 2.
Dos.
It's
Song.
Ni.
We're in Thailand. Song.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying all the languages I know.
Which is...
Zwei. 2.
Where's Swai?
German.
Okay.
Eins, zwei.
Yeah.
Anyway, how are you? We missed you since our first episode. This is the second one. So, again, if you have missed the first one, go back and watch that.
Yes, definitely go back and watch the first one.
Listen.
Sorry. Yeah, not watch yet. We will film these in the future.
We will.
But not yet. Because I think in the first one we spoke a little bit about ourselves and our story and that sort of thing. And this, we're not going to do that anymore.
Well, not in this one, no. So go back
you're-
and listen to that after this one, or listen to it first and come back to this one.
Yes, give you some context about who we are. But other than that, if you're here from now on, we're going to assume you have a little bit of an idea of what's going on. So we're going to spare the big explanations about who we are. But on the short explanation, I'm Michael.
I'm Josie.
I'm a business owner, I guess digital nomad. It makes me sick
I don't
to
like
say
that
word.
Yeah.
Those words.
We don't
remote
like saying
business
digital
owner.
nomad.
And I have an online business, which means that I can work from anywhere and I just kind of travel and do just that.
Yeah, and I guess I am a full-time YouTuber, I guess, social media person. Content creator. I travel and make videos of where we are and post them on YouTube. So I guess that's what I am.
Well, I'm a part-time content creator.
Yeah, you hold the camera for me sometimes.
I have a TikTok account with 50,000 subscribers or
Guys,
followers.
I keep forgetting about that. He's slowly rose to TikTok and YouTube Shorts
I
stardom.
have a quarter of the followers that Cara and Nate have.
I have more than them on TikTok.
No one likes a bragger. Come on.
Sorry.
Guys, I have a quarter of the...
I hate when your watch does that.
My watch, because I have fat wrists.
I've told you to turn that off
Because I have
so many
fat wrists.
times.
If you heard that, that was Siri talking. Because my wrists are fat, when I turn my hand, it like presses the Siri button and listens to me. I can't avoid that until I get smaller wrists somehow. Can you lose weight in your wrists?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, I used to be on the 4th or 5th notch when I was training, and now I'm on the 2nd or 3rd. Now that I'm a bit fatter.
Oh.
Yeah.
Now that I'm a bit fatter. Anyway, this episode. First, before we start, I want to say thank you to Josie's members.
Yeah, so thank you to my YouTube channel members and also my Buy Me a Coffee members. I
Yes.
had my first one today, actually.
Second.
So, no, member on
Yeah,
Buy
some
Me a
guy
Coffee.
membershiped you ages ago because he inboxed you and asked
Oh,
you if you
second.
hadn't-
Yeah, you're right.
He asked you if you had an OnlyFans.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
And you were like,
true.
no, I have a membership on Buy Me a
and
Coffee,
he,
so
and
you
he
signed up for
joined.
it.
Yeah, so my second membership.
So if you're still there, bro, and you think
Thank
it was
you.
OnlyFans, sorry, it's not.
I looked at my revenue and I think there was only one
He
membership.
figured out there was no nudie pics in there.
Anyway, you guys are the best, and you guys have access to this first. So I think
Yeah.
they're already on episode 3,
Well,
and this is episode 2.
Whilst we're sitting here recording episode 2, they're listening to episode 1. And
Yeah, so they
whilst
get it ahead of time.
you guys, the rest of the general public, are listening to episode...
Don't call them the rest of the general public. That sounds so mean.
I don't
It's
know
like
how
my
else to say
members
it.
and everyone else. That's so slack.
Non-members?
Yeah, that's better. I
The
think.
viewers, the...
No,
I don't know.
that makes them sound less than. Even
Well,
if you're not,
I don't believe less than. I don't mean that.
even if you're not a member of my channel,
Yeah.
you're still worthy.
Of course. I did not mean
I know.
that.
I'm just telling you how it sounds.
Yeah, okay. Well, my point is, everyone who's hearing this without being a member,
That's better.
on normal release, like the normal release, members are already listening to the next one. You get the next one when the old one comes out.
What we're saying is the members get the
You
podcast
get
a week
them
in
early.
advance, or
So thanks,
an episode
members.
in advance. So
But
thank
also
you, channel
thanks
members.
to everybody else.
And also
'cause
thanks
you
to
made me feel bad.
Anyway, so yes, thank you. A minute for the members.
Yes.
And now 1 minute for everyone else, because I feel like I have to be inclusive.
Those
Anyway,
of you in the comments, the members are the people with little Milo symbols next to their name.
if this is on my channel, they are.
No, I mean like most people. I'm sure there are some people who are here for me from my various things, but most people will be here for you. So in your YouTube comments of your main
Yeah.
channel. That's
That's
how
what
you
they are.
identify them. But yeah.
Yeah.
Episode 2, hey, what's the topic?
Well, I think it's about like general views on channels, and we're not going to touch on money just yet, like going in depth, but it is to do with money. So
Yes.
in a way. But before we do that, I think we should recap as to where we are, because obviously we're traveling, right? So I
Yes.
feel like at the start of the episodes, we should just kind of tell them where we are at this point in time, just so that even when we're listening, we can be like, oh yeah, that was in
Yeah.
X place or whatever, you know,
Yes. We're in Chiang Mai,
in Thailand.
as we were in the first one.
Yeah. So
And we'll be here for a couple more episodes.
yes, that
Yeah.
was the plan, because we came here to get this
work.
up and running and work and edit and work. We think that Chiang Mai is a great place for that. So
Chiang Mai, in my opinion, is... I've been to a lot of places around this world, and Chiang
how
Mai...
many countries from your app?
Well, not a lot when you... 30.
Okay, well, that was way more than me. I think I'm only on like 18 or
Yeah,
something.
30. I
We
thought
have
it
an
was more,
app.
but-
Shout out to, maybe we should have an app of the week. I don't know. But shout out to Bean.
No, we don't say any app names unless they pay us.
Okay, Casey, nice stat. Cover his Sony label, even though everyone knows it's a
app's,
Sony.
The app's called Bean, isn't it?
Bean, like Been,
Yeah.
not Bean.
And you can kind of punch in the countries that you've been to, and it'll give you like, this is how many, this is a map.
We both
this is
did
the
that.
percentage. Yeah.
So I kind of found out that I have been to more places than I thought, but that's because I did all my traveling 10 years ago and then just didn't travel. So I've got a few countries, but I feel like I almost need to start again.
Whereas for me, I'm in a scenario where I've kind of felt like I've been traveling for years, but everywhere this last sort of 13 months,
Has been, you've already been there.
I kind of go back to the same
Yeah.
places. And I feel like I'm 32.
Well, that's why we went to the Philippines though, because it was the one place you hadn't
Well,
been.
yeah, but I feel like at 32, like, I do have a desire to see everywhere in the world, but I definitely had more of a desire to visit every country when I was, say, 25, 26.
Yeah, that's kind of
And
where
then-
I'm at right now.
And then now I'm at a point where it's like, I have the places I'd like to go. I'll happily go to places that are outside my comfort zone that I don't have on my bucket list. But the desire to see every country in the world, maybe that will get bigger again when we get closer to something like that. But at this point in time, turn your phone off.
Yeah, that was my bad.
But at this
You
point
had Siri, I had a notification.
but at this point in time, like I definitely find myself heading back to explore more of the places that I've loved, like Thailand and
Yeah.
Southeast Asia in general. And even though I've been to Myanmar, for example, and that's the only place in ASEAN that you haven't been.
Yeah. Is it?
It's 10 countries in the ASEAN region,
Wow.
ASEAN.
I've been to 9.
You've
Yeah,
been to
true. I really want to go there. I said that in the last
But
episode.
like, I would love to go back there and explore more of it. The Philippines, I'd love to go back and explore more of
Yeah.
it. Indonesia, explore more. Like, we haven't even done the south of Thailand yet. So,
Oh, I can't wait to do that. I literally have been telling you for the last 13 months that I want to go to the south of Thailand and do
when
the
I was,
islands.
When I was 25, I would have wanted to say, go through all those little countries in Africa, for example, and tick them all off the list. But as I
Yeah.
get a bit older, I kind of just want to dig my feet a little deeper into the places that we've been before and learn more about them and learn the language and the culture.
Me doing this Bean app,
Yeah.
it's kind of lit a spark inside me to see as many countries as possible.
Yeah, 'cause you're competitive and you want to have a bigger number than me.
No, that's not true.
You'll
I just
never have a
want
bigger number than me because we'll travel together. So I'll always be ahead of you.
I can do a solo trip and just
No, you
go to
can't.
even more. Yes, I can. I did it when I was 17. I can do it now.
Sure.
He's just saying that because he does all the planning. Yeah. Okay, I'll do it if you want. I'll plan our next trip.
You guys heard that. That's a verbal contract. I can get out of that now.
But yeah, so we're
in
currently
Chiang Mai.
we're in Chiang Mai and we came here to work, get this up and running, do a few things that we do have in the works as well. We've both taken a break from TikTok because for me, I think something's got to give at some point. I'm trying to
Yes.
edit all my videos. I'm trying to do this podcast. I've done all the we don't hire anyone to make the podcast or do anything. So
There is
I've done all the
nobody
graphics.
who helps with any of our content creation except you have a general assistant that helps with some administrative tasks. And
Yeah,
things.
but I make everything and do everything.
Yeah, you do. I heard a content creator this week talk about going full time for the first time, and there's two of them, and they were putting out one video a week and no other platforms or anything, and whatever. There's no shame.
We're not
There's
throwing
shame.
anyone down.
It's like whatever you are comfortable doing is totally fine. Like, you don't have to be a workaholic, and there's no pride in that hustle grind mindset. I don't think there's any real pride in it. For someone who's been there and made myself super fat and super sick doing it in my mid-20s, you don't have to do that. But like, to give reference, Josie does everything except for filming and probably half the planning of videos.
I don't film. What do you mean?
No, like, you do everything to do with the channel except for holding the camera when I'm holding it.
Yeah, when you're holding it, but I
Yeah,
still
but
like vlog and do the
I was just
B-roll
doing
and
the abridged version of it. You don't need every little percentage of
well, you
credit.
just said you do everything besides filming. I'm like, no, I don't.
Well,
I do the filming.
vlogging and B-roll, that sort of stuff. But
You fly the drone and hold the camera when I can't.
yes, yes. But my point is, I was about to compliment you.
Keep
my
going,
point
then.
is that you do
Carry on.
Like, you run a channel 3 videos a week doing so much work, and I don't think people realize.
Plus TikTok shorts.
And then when we want to do things like this, bring out things
Yeah.
like this, it's really hard to sort of do so without letting something
slide. And for me, that's TikTok this month.
Yeah, me too. I've been working on some things which we'll talk about in a sec, but we just kind of both gave up that. And if you do follow either of us or both of us there, that's why you haven't really seen anything since the new year, because you both taken a conscious time off.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, TikTok's super fun as a creator. It's
I love
actually
TikTok.
really fun to make TikTok.
I love TikTok.
We both do travel-based ones. You're not going to catch me dancing on there.
Yeah, I can't dance.
You did a dancing one once.
I did it more than once. No one scroll back, but I'm not good at
Recently,
it.
since you did the travel stuff. But like,
Still got more views
we both
than
just
other
make
things.
travel
that I've done.
content. But my point is, like, we needed a rest from that, even though it's not the hardest thing to do. It's just time consuming. And I do find that when I create more, I end up back in the comments replying to people more, and it wastes so much of my time to do other stuff. But we've taken that time off mainly because you wanted to focus on your YouTube videos elevating a little bit in terms of editing and those sorts of things.
Yeah, because I never really have time to edit. So like when we're on the road and we're traveling and things like that, like it's basically because I do so many videos, or so many, like 2 or 3 a week.
Well,
I feel like most people do 1 a week, so I feel like it's more than most people.
Up until this week, it's been 3 a week for the Vietnam series, and then you had a rest, and now it's back to 2 a week.
Yeah, but when you have 3 videos
And
to
it's
do,
just you.
You don't have a week to spend editing a video.
Totally.
So it's basically like edit it and get it up. And there's just so much more that I wanted to do editing wise and filming wise even to an extent, but definitely editing wise, and I just didn't have the time to do it.
And something had to give, and I watch you do it, and I think, I know you work so hard, and I know you're the reason you can output all of that is because you work so hard. But I've not, to give you guys a bit of a behind the scenes, I kind of nag you to do things that you might forget to do, because I think that's important when you're kind of like a team. I'm like, oh, you have to reply to that person who might have left you a donation or something. You better get back to them, because you forget, because you've got 100 things on the boil. And you'll nag me and you'll say, don't you have a call to make for your business or whatever? Like, we'll nag each
That's
other.
because you told me to do that, though.
That's what we do. It's good to have like someone to remind you of those things. But TikTok, I haven't kind of bothered to say to you, you haven't made a TikTok in a while.
You actually haven't, yeah, true.
Because I can see that you needed a rest from it so that you could.
Yeah.
And I think you just put out the best video you've ever done.
Same.
Which has the least views you've
Views
ever done.
I've ever
Your
had.
least ever views.
It's funny how that works.
Well, the weird thing is, I don't think this attributes to it, but it might. YouTube had like a massive bug this week.
Oh, you told me about that today.
YouTube had a massive bug where it wasn't getting real-time views, and people were watching the video and it wasn't reflecting in the stats. Now, we don't know if this affected you or not.
We don't know if it affected my video. I know as a whole what series I'm doing right now in Lao has lower views anyway.
More to do with Lao.
But you
what
were
was
saying that
happening-
you don't know if it did affect me or not.
What was happening for interested people, because people who watch YouTube but maybe don't make videos, or even people that make videos but maybe aren't as caught up in their analytics because you might be new and it doesn't matter as much.
Yeah.
Because my advice to anyone who's starting out in YouTube is, don't worry about your analytics. Just post as much as you can.
Yeah.
Obviously care about...
To start off with.
Obviously care... Yeah. If you in your first, 50 videos. Just
we should do an episode on tips.
Yeah, just make 50... Here's a little short one. Just make 50 videos and get good at thumbnails and titles and videos and filming before you care about how long people watch for, before you care about if this video got 10K or it got 1K, before you even in your mind care about that at all. How people
found that video.
Just make 50 videos.
Yeah,
and
I
then
agree.
you can be like, okay, now I know what I'm good at and what I'm not good at, and you can double down on that.
Well, put it this way. What have I done? 106, almost 170 videos, and I think I did my best video this week.
It's been the key to your success. The key to your success
in
has
1
been,
year.
Well, that's how you learn. You can sit there and you can read as many guides and you can consume as many other YouTubers as you want.
Yeah.
And you can say, I want to make a video like that, and then spend the next month learning how they do it and not being able to do it and getting frustrated. But the reason you could create the video you created this week, which was the Lao road trip video, was because you'd made 170 mistakes previous to that in other videos. Anyway, the point I was getting to with the thing that was happening with YouTube is that people were watching creators' videos, but those views weren't getting registered with YouTube. Now you might think, oh no, woe is me. It means that the YouTuber doesn't have as many views shown, but actually is much bigger than that. When you publish a video on YouTube, the amount of views you get in the first hour, and then to a lesser extent, second hour, lesser extent, third hour,
important.
for the first sort of 6 hours or so, kind of dictates how that video is going to perform.
Which is why when you see your creators or your favorite YouTubers upload at the same time, but also then post on other socials and say, go watch this now. That's why. You're helping them in a way. And you're dictating the future of their video.
They ask you to put the bell on.
Assuming they're not a million, however many, like a lot of subscribers, because I feel like it would. Well, yeah, it would, but I'm just saying.
About it in this case, like you, when Mr. Beast put out his Squid Game video, most of the world watched that. I think he said 10% of the people who have access to the internet watched that video.
Are you serious?
Now, you would have had that on your homepage, even though you've never watched one of his videos, because it just got pushed out to everyone because the whole world waited for that release and then watched it
as soon as it came out. And that's why the notification bell is so important.
So
anyway,
what happened was, because of that reason, it wasn't just that the views weren't showing up on the creators' analytics and on their page saying this video has X amount of views. It also wasn't showing up as an analytic for that view as a trigger to tell YouTube that people liked it. So the YouTube algorithm thought that everyone who uploaded in that 24-hour period was just getting 10% of the views they were normally getting, and therefore didn't push it out to new viewers, which is kind of where a video growth comes from. New viewers or old viewers who may not watch every single video kind of dictate how well the video is going to grow. But to get it to those people, the regular viewers have to watch it, like it, thumbs up, interact with it, and that kind of pushes it out to those people.
And it's kind of like when you look at the analytics side of things, it kind of says, like YouTube gives you these prompts and they say, oh, your regular viewers aren't watching this as much as usual. Yes. That's what they say.
So you might have a decent, you might say if you've got a certain click-through rate, but then it'll show you the click-through rate from your regular viewers to see how they like it. So the whole point of YouTube is your regular viewers have to interact with it and like it, and that will push it to people who sometimes watch, and if those people like it, it'll push it to new people, and that's how a video kind of goes viral. But there was no metric for regular viewers because people were watching the videos, but YouTube wasn't registering it, and the algorithm was saying this video sucks, no one likes it, to everyone. There's a famous YouTuber called Unspeakable who actually pulled his video.
Was that him?
And re-uploaded it the next day and got 10 times the views.
Yeah.
So I don't think this affected you. I mean, it might have. I did look back in your analytics, and there was like a 6-hour period where your channel just got like no views. Yeah,
you were showing me that tweet, I think it was, of that guy who showed his analytics where it just went up and then flatlined. Like it literally said this video hasn't been shown to anyone new in like 4 hours or something.
He got 20,000 views in the first 3 hours.
And then not one other person watched his videos. I highly doubt that. Not like one person watched it for 6 hours.
I don't think that had anything to do with your loud video.
No, but it's just not a popular topic.
But it was an interesting thing that happened roughly around the same time. So, hey, maybe there's some overflow. Maybe YouTube's having some problems with the recommendations because normally you go to a new country and it gets shown to the people in that country as well, which helps. It didn't.
It didn't this time,
it did this week. Last couple of days.
Yeah, but not really.
Not the same. But anyway.
Which is fine.
My point was to kind of give people an insight into the analytics side and also how valuable you are as a viewer to the success of the channel.
Yeah.
Like
your favorite creators.
you'll hear people say,
Like and subscribe.
like the video, subscribe to the video, subscribe to the channel.
And I know everyone's like eye roll,
Leave a
like,
comment.
yeah, okay.
But the reality is leaving that thumbs up.
Yeah, really helps
It
people.
really dictates what.
And it's free.
It's free, but
I'm not saying give me thumbs up. I'm saying give anyone you like or watch video a
I'm
thumbs up.
guilty of it.
Are you?
I'm guilty of not doing it.
I do it ever since I started creating on YouTube. Before I wouldn't like thumbnail, thumbs up or anything. But since I've been a YouTube creator and I see how much it actually helps, like I'll go to if I click on someone I normally watch, first thing I do is click the thumbs up.
I did it today, and I had like a moment where I realized I don't do this enough.
Yeah.
I watched a video of a singer in London, and he was Irish. I've got Irish background for reference. And like a homeless man who was also Irish, who was living in London, living on the streets in London. He walked over to the busker and they sang an Irish song together. And I had chills, I had goosebumps because that's the stuff I grew up listening to with my family.
Did
my
you?
grandparents. Yeah, Fields of Athenry. It's a famous Irish song. And they sang it together and I had chills, I had goosebumps. And I liked the video because like, that left something with me. And then I realized I haven't liked a video on any social media platform in months except for yours.
Yeah.
And you don't think about it. You just consume the content. Like there's a YouTuber, this might be a weird one for some people listening, called Max Tuning.
Oh, we love Max.
We love Max. And I watch Max's content.
He hearted my comment the other day.
I've watched Max's content for probably nearly
10 years?
10 years he's been on YouTube for. I think I've been there for 9.5 of them.
Yeah.
And he's always making videos saying he doesn't grow much anymore because he's not trying to grow. He just kind of makes videos for his base and that's it.
The people who already
same
watch
amount
him,
of views.
basically. Yeah.
And he was talking about how he doesn't grow anymore and the views are declining and all these sorts of things. And he used to get 200K a video, and now he gets like 80. And he was talking about the views declining. And then I was like, poor Max. Yeah, I wish that things would turn around for him. Then I realized I've probably
What have
never
you done
liked
for
a
him?
video in 10 years and I've consumed all of his content.
Yeah.
You don't think about it.
Yeah.
Anyway, your best video came out this week.
I think it was the best video, editing-wise, filming-wise. I just think that I actually had some time here in Chiang Mai to sit down and be like, okay, this is the way that I want to edit. And I had time to implement techniques in editing that I just don't normally have time for. Like overlay, I do B-roll, but there's different ways you can do that in editing, and it's a bit hard to explain without you guys seeing. You're only hearing what I'm saying, but you can have a clip going on a timeline and then literally just copy a bit of footage on and it lays over that. But there's the things that you can do where you then overplay the voice, the track, while you're also putting in music,
Basically
while you're
much
also
more
putting
intricate.
in. Yeah, and I had time to do that. And I was editing it. And I was like, this is the best video I've ever edited.
Yeah.
And then I put it on my story. I was like, guys, I have such a good, like my Instagram story. I was like, I have such a good feeling about this video.
And then it tagged.
and then it didn't go well. But for me,
It's loud.
the other thing is, wait, hold on. I was like, this is such a good edited video. And I said to myself, I was like, if I know I'm not going to get the views, which is totally fine. I know I'm not. But if the one thing I get from this is like a high duration of watch time, that will show me that this video is well edited. Like, because I was watching it being like, this is well paced. I've like really cut out stuff I wouldn't normally cut out. I was like, I've edited it in a way that it flows better, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So for me, I was like, if I can take anything away from this, it'll be a watch time. And it was one of my highest for a while, which really made me
the highest.
It's
ever.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Fully transparent on the back end. Not to give away specific numbers, we might do that one day, do a numbers episode. But like the travel niche, you don't always get a super high view duration because there are a lot of viewers where English...
Well, in our experience, we don't know what other people's are.
Yeah, but like I think I've got a pretty good idea of it just based off how other people sit and their results and things like that. The view durations aren't like 20 minutes like they might be on other people's videos, and they're not 90% like they might be on a Mr. Beast video that only goes for 8 minutes. My point is that in the travel niche, you get... Well, someone like Bald and Bankrupt or Harold Ball probably has really long duration.
I didn't even know who they were until like last
because
week
they
when you
make
told
hour-long
me.
videos. But talking about people making those 10 to 20 minute videos, your view duration's not going to be, in the 80% range. If you are, all power to you, and you should be doing better.
Yeah, tell me tips. Start a podcast, send it to me.
Because we travel to countries where English is not the first language, and therefore it's tough for people who are discovering that
to listen,
they just want to see your
understand.
reactions to their country, but they're not going to sit there and watch the whole video. They're going to skip through to the bits they get.
Well, we
which
watched-
totally makes sense.
yeah.
Even though there are subtitles,
Yeah.
it's still not the same experience. Like, how often do we watch subtitled movies?
Well,
and
that's the
stuff?
thing. You showed me a video the other day. I can't remember who it was, or yesterday. I can't remember. And they were speaking in a different language, and I was like, I'm not interested. Like, you know what I mean? It is hard when you don't understand what is
Totally.
going on fully to be interested for a long period of time.
Totally. And anyway, this one was like maybe 15% better than your best ever, and
Yeah.
probably 25% better than your average.
Yeah, and I. It's funny
And
because now
interestingly
that's
enough-
successful to me. It's not the views though.
Well-
That it's the fact that people watched it. That for me in this video was the
I
successful
think that's
part.
the shift as a creator that you're having.
Yeah.
I think this is something we'll talk about in some more detail.
Yeah,
in the
we
future.
don't want to talk about it fully
we will
today,
talk
but
about it. We'll give you a little nugget now, so if you want to hear more about
Nugget.
it in the future. But I think as a creator, especially a travel content creator, there are there's multiple types of people, but the main thing, you can chase views and do anything at all costs to get them, and the people who will watch your videos and enjoy them won't know that you're kind of clickbaiting and like, you know, it's legit bait. You are like they call it legit bait when you're not saying I broke my leg and then the video is you might have an action figure and break its leg and go like that's clickbait. Legit
That
bait
makes
is
me
when,
mad.
Yeah, legit bait is when you use something that actually happened, maybe vaguely, maybe a little bit in a smart way to kind of get people to watch your video. And then there's just creating content that you love and hoping people will find it. And I think as a travel creator, most will wrestle between those two ideas, and your channel definitely has wrestled between I want to make
100%.
things people want to find, and then also I need to get some views because things aren't going as I want them to go.
I don't know about that. I don't ever sit there and go, I want views now, let's make this video. I've never done that.
No, I mean, like, sometimes you might think you might make a video. You don't make a video for the views. I know that you've never made a video that you wouldn't want to make. You've never done anything just for the views, and I've suggested things to you that would get views, and you've told me no.
Because I'm like, that doesn't align.
But
with
I
me.
do mean there are times where you might like put a more of a shocked expression on the thumbnail than you'd like because you're like, well, this is how you get people to watch the video. Not saying now, but maybe back in the past, that's something that you experimented with. Is this what I have to do to be successful on YouTube? That's kind of more what I
Spoiler,
mean.
no, because they didn't go well.
Yeah, but you've kind of jumped between the
Yeah,
two. You do
kinda.
see an uptick in click-through rate when you do things like that, but then the view duration and the likes and the quality of the people who watch the video, I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean like the quality in terms of they're clicking on your video because they've been enticed to watch it, and then you're not giving them Mr. Beast style content that's fast paced. You're giving them a travel vlog. They didn't want to watch that.
It's different style of
So
content
that
than what
stuff
they
does
click
work to
for.
up your CTR, but it doesn't help with your attention, and it doesn't help with people subscribing. And when we kind of stopped doing that sort of stuff, not that we did it often, but stopped caring about that sort of stuff, you do see an increase in the quality of people. And that's why your subscribe rate is so high. You get so many more subscribers per viewers than other travel YouTubers because I think they go, I like this girl because I got what was on the tin.
Yeah, which is my goal.
Yeah, my
Like,
point is this, but my point is now you're at the point
We've
as
definitely
a creator.
deviated.
My point is, sorry, now you're at this point as a creator where you can make exactly the content you want to make, and you're more comfortable and content with that, with things not going exceptionally well. And you can actively make decisions against things that you know will get views but aren't your true purpose as a creator.
I feel like I've always done that.
Yeah, but there are plenty of videos. No, there was a time where even in like Chiang Mai, for example, to be completely transparent, the first time around, we went to Samui. It didn't go well. And then we were like, oh, we know food videos go well. So we made some food videos, even though you didn't really want to make those videos because we knew it would help the channel. That's kind of what I mean.
Yeah, I guess. I don't really remember what we said coming back from Samui. That was the first time after a little bit of growth that
Things stalled.
Things stalled because we went to Koh Samui and my views, less than
Because
halved?
everyone loved watching you. Everyone was loving watching you reacting to, like, right before we went to Samui, a lot of food videos in Chiang Mai because you kind of had a balance between food
We had a
and
food
vlog.
tour. We had a pad
KFC.
kapow, a KFC. Yeah.
Different things. They all kind of went off. Fruit, the one you tried, fruit, which a lot of
Fruits.
people found you from, they all kind of went off, and then that's the sort of audience that YouTube found for you. And then we went and traveled, and people who had been
wasn't-
shown all
yeah.
the food videos is like, She's just traveling. I don't care. I want to see her eat something. So we thought, okay, we did what YouTube tells you to do, which will make the content that people want to see, and that'll help the channel again. And that's kind of what I mean. Like, now I don't think you do that. Now I think... So here's a good example. Right now, on the back end, people probably... This will be interesting to them. You have a video right now with 1.5 million views.
Yeah.
We are 4 months later.
Yeah.
And it still gets 500 views every hour, constantly ongoing. 4 months later.
It's actually crazy.
Meaning that there are times where it's the highest performing video the next day after an upload still.
Which is weird because you would obviously expect your latest upload to be your highest viewed one. You'd expect that.
Yeah, like it doesn't take long for that one to drop under 500 views an hour and the Indonesia pancake one to go back to the top.
Yeah.
Now, we're having issues now with analytics where you put out a new video and the click-through rate's not as high because all the new people that have come into your channel are Indonesian.
Yeah.
So we know that right now, if we got on a plane and picked up what we were doing, went back to Indonesia, you'd get hundreds of thousands of views.
Yeah, but that's when we go, well, we're not going to Indonesia to get views.
This
we're
is
not going to
kind of my
do that.
point.
Yeah.
Whereas in the early stages of the channel, not that you would have done it, but you might have felt more tempted to do it because you want growth.
Yeah.
But now, no. Now you're in a position, probably in the last 6 months.
I think I would say it's easy for most people to say, oh, this is what works. Let's do it. Let's go.
Yes.
Yeah, but I don't think I've never been like, okay, let's go do things only to grow my subs and my likes.
Yeah, you're less tempted now. You're happy to make content that aligns more with you at this point in time. It's boring people probably, so we'll move on from that.
Yeah.
But my point is, you have made a great video that you love. You have the time to invest into doing that. This is going to be more of, they can expect more of that in the future.
More of what?
Videos like where the editing matches your idea as opposed to the idea and then you
Hopefully. don't put some pressure on me
you
now.
have to rush the edit because
Chill out.
you're working really hard. That's kind of my main point. Sorry to bore you.
Yeah. But yeah, I did get some really good feedback on that video, which is awesome.
It was,
I've had a few comments being like, the editing is really good. It's really well paced, like the way you've cut things together. So I've got some good feedback, which makes me happy.
well, I watch every video that you put out when it comes out, right? I watched this one because you were so proud of it. We sat down and watched it on the TV.
Yeah, I really was.
And then when it came out, I watched it again.
Did you?
Yeah, because I enjoyed it. It was fun.
So did I.
It was, with 13 months of travel, that driving day was the best and worst experience rolled into one. And
It was the best for me because I was a passenger princess and I just had to sit in this.
That's what made
passenger.
it the best experience, though. The fact that it was the best and worst.
Yeah.
It's the most memorable.
Yeah. So we, on that topic and on the loud topic and on this video topic and everything like that, just forewarning you guys, we will go into money in future episodes and like revenue and we'll touch on it more, not just in one particular episode, but maybe over a few episodes. We'll go into more depth in that in the future.
To the point where you guys, there will be a blog coming out in the future as well.
Yeah, that we're working on that
too. And you guys
too.
will get an income report from Josie to see what she makes
And what I spend.
as a YouTuber, what we spend to do this, everything, sponsorships, not like the exact money of what each individual sponsorship is paying, but like a roundup of how much we've made from sponsorships that month. Everything will be fully transparent with the money, and we'll do a money episode introducing those income reports eventually.
Yeah, so that's in the future, and like I said, we're still putting all of these different avenues that we're doing together. But just to touch on that, and speaking of the video, the Lao video, we got a comment.
We did. Sorry,
What are you doing?
Put Josie off because I'm smiling at her.
What are you
right
doing?
now. I'm just smiling at her right now. I'm just proud of you.
Is that it?
Yeah.
You look a bit weird.
I was just smiling.
Hey, everyone, you're very lucky you can't see these yet. We will put out videos.
I was just smiling at you.
Okay, it was a weird smile, but anyway. We got a comment on the Lao video.
Yes.
And it was just very interesting.
And we get these on TikTok a lot because people don't know you there. They see you for the first
Oh, yeah.
time.
I have way more followers on TikTok. So, and they're not seeing full videos where someone can get to know me.
And they
They're
might
just
see you
seeing
for the first time
what
that day.
10-second clips. And can I just say, you don't know someone from 10 seconds worth of footage.
No,
you don't know what happened before or after.
Don't make a comment about who you think they are. You can, in the video, if if someone walks up to a dog and kicks the dog, you can say
Yeah.
you're a dirty dog kicker. You can say that, but don't say you're a dog kicker because you come from this background and you've done this in your life and you have this privilege, and you don't make assumptions about somebody if you don't know anything about them, because you're probably wrong.
Well, this person was wrong.
They were very wrong.
So I got a comment, and I don't actually know what it said because it's since been deleted.
Preface it with, this person had left nice comments previously, so this hurt a little bit because it was just like
Yes.
a 180 turn,
Like
of
within
one moment.
within what, like a
12
couple
hours.
of couple
Yeah.
of days, they'd
And if you're listening, if you are listening to this person, this is not a grudge against you, but we will use this comment as an example of like what you say to creators and how harsh you can be to them. Sometimes ask a question before you give an opinion, I think. Ask the question.
I think they could have.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for being a commenter. Thank
Yeah.
you for saying nice things in the past. But we do have to make an example out of this comment. We don't name drop anyone.
I don't know the name because I deleted it, but I feel like you can just watch how you talk to someone.
Oh,
like
they deleted it.
Yeah,
Yeah, they did.
They could have been you could have worded something that you say completely differently to change the meaning behind what you
Totally.
say. So I don't remember what it said exactly because, like I said, it's since been deleted, and I'm not
think I do.
picking on anyone, but it came across the lines of things like, it was my first Lao video, and it came across the lines of saying that I've shown a dark side to me because I was we went to a tuk-tuk driver.
Yeah, we'll set the scene.
And yeah, we'll set the scene. So we were walking around.
It's about this part of the first video.
Yeah, we're walking around Vientiane
Yeah.
in Laos, and you done some research as to what a going rate
Tuk-tuk
is.
cost, but because we were it's late 2022 when we went to Laos, but there still hadn't been many tourists
After pandemic.
go back to Laos and write about the state of Laos now.
Yes.
And again, we looked at Laos beforehand. There's not many YouTube videos there, and there's not many with a lot of views. There's nothing much going on in Laos.
So you done some research and said
Yes.
kind of what the going rate was back then or whatever.
Pre-pandemic, yeah.
And we walked up to this guy, and he gave, honestly to me, an absurd amount of money
Which
to go.
is, but that's normal in
that
Southeast Asia.
happens.
That's what you do.
That happens. You've said to me from the start, because I hate the haggling process.
I'd be suspicious if I went to any tuk-tuk driver in any
And he gave
country,
a reasonable
in
price.
any country in the world where there's tuk-tuks. I mean, taxis in Australia are extortion. That's why everyone uses Uber, which still costs too much. But I'd be so... If I walked up to anyone to do any fixed price before any meters on, in any country where tuk-tuks exist or negotiation exists, and they gave me anywhere near double the price...
You'd be
I'd
skeptical.
be suspicious.
Yeah.
So is this person going to go and like take me in a back street and rob me? Is that why they're giving me the right price? So I go with them. Like, sorry, you walk into any market, anywhere where you have to negotiate. So food sellers, you don't negotiate. That's the only place you don't really, you just kind of get the price off them. And if they lie to you, you can just say no and walk away.
Yeah, facts.
But like, you go buy clothes, you go to a market, you go taxi drivers, anything, they expect you to negotiate. It is not only is it what they're expecting you to do because like you're a tourist, they're expecting other people from their own country to do that because that's the culture.
Yeah.
The culture is to haggle.
I feel like some people, though, in some countries, like I don't know of a time, but I feel like they also, maybe they don't expect you to haggle and they just get a higher price sometimes.
Do you remember that Dale? Oh, yes, they do. The reason they give you a stupid price is because
some people
every
might
now
be
and
like,
then
okay.
some people go, oh, that's what it costs. I guess I'm going to have to pay $30 to go 2 kilometers because that's what it costs. Anyway, you remember that Dale Phillip video, just to go tiny little tangent?
No. Which one?
He went viral for...
I don't really watch his videos, so I'm not sure.
I don't mind his stuff. I mean, no opinion of him as a person. Don't know anything about him. Heard some shady stuff. Don't really know. So
Yeah,
whatever. His video, he went viral on TikTok. People were reposting his video because he negotiated with an Indian kid who was selling him food. Now, you don't normally negotiate with food sellers, but in this instance, he'd been to India so many times, he kind of knew what the going rate was for your average street food. He knew the kid was like asking like 10 times whatever it costs.
Yeah.
So he negotiated the kid down to what the real price is for a local.
Good on him, I say.
Now, he copped so much hate for that.
Did, yeah, you're
because
right.
everyone was saying, mate, you are a rich vlogger, which we're about to get to.
Yeah.
You can afford this. Now, Dale has 1 million+ subscribers. if you know anything about the bloke's history, I did a little bit of research when I found out, like, who's this bloke? He has made money doing other things in the past.
Okay.
He does have a bit of money behind him. But I personally think two things here. He's traveling full-time. You don't have to constantly be extorted when you travel full-time.
Yeah.
And also, it's what it costs. It's the price of something.
Yeah.
Like, you shouldn't be taken advantage of because you're not from there.
Yeah.
And he got so much hate.
That's something I believe in bit too much, I think.
It went viral.
I really agree.
And the interesting part of this is I've watched his videos before and many others like him.
And he gives, doesn't he?
And they donate. And
yeah,
they
he gives
if someone
extra
gives
money
you the right
often.
price off the bat, he gives them
Gives
double
them
the money.
extra. Yeah, you're right.
So people again, they didn't know anything about this guy or his videos or his background, and they made a judgment off one clip, and it went viral, and he got so much hate for it. People were reposting it because they don't understand anything about the stuff the guy's done in the past.
It just grinds my gears because this is...
It happens to us a lot on TikTok, but this is probably the first time it's happened on YouTube.
Yeah. So I've come out to this TikTok guy, and he's given me more than like double the...
He said 100K.
The price. He said 100K. Yeah, 100K. 100,000
The
kip.
listed price was 50.
Yeah. So...
Neither are a super large amount in Australian dollars. They're not.
Well, I think the local price would have been 20 or 30.
Oh, yes.
So
100%.
I was happy with 50 because, again...
We're happy to pay a little bit
more. So I didn't mind in that regard. So I wanted 50.
Yes.
So he said 100. I was like, 100? No. I was like, no way.
And you'd bothered. This is the thing. This is the other thing.
I
You'd
learnt the
bothered to
language.
learn in Lao how to say, I'd like a cheaper price, or that's too much.
I learnt the language.
Which is like, he was very happy with.
He was. After that, he lowered the price.
Yes, he was very happy to see that because it's a respected part of the culture for you to haggle with him.
Yeah. So, and again, yeah. So I'd asked for less, and he'd come down by like 10,000 kip.
And then my guilt checked in.
Which was not, no, he didn't get down to that.
Oh, he was saying
he
like
was going
70,
like 90, 80. He was like 80, okay? I was like, no, not okay. And then he got down to 60, and we'd agreed beforehand on 50. I'd looked at you.
Me and you had agreed.
Yes. So I'd looked at you, and then you looked at me, and then it was a bit awkward, and then you were just like, okay, 60. And I was like, no. I was like, we'd agreed on 50.
Yeah, you were arguing with me, not with him.
Yeah, of course. Yes. So you'd agreed on 60.
Because I didn't care.
Yeah, which you don't care, but we have different budgets, which again we'll go into in the future. And actually I get into in the next video, in Lao.
Which will already be out by the time you guys will hear this.
Yeah, so we have different budgets. So it's okay for you to agree to extra money sometimes, but I can't afford that all the time.
And in the moment, Josie thought she'd be paying more, but I was just going to cover it.
Yeah, so there was a little bit of a thing. Anyway, so I put that on in the video because why would I shy away from putting those things in?
It's a real moment.
It's a real moment. It happens in travel.
If you're going to set foot in Southeast Asia,
you need to know that happens.
You have to understand that you have to negotiate.
And I will say that...
And you'll negotiate and still pay too much. Everyone
will. 100%. You've told me this because I don't like negotiating. You've told me this. If they've sold it to you, they're happy to give you that price.
If he didn't want...
He would just say no.
If 50K was going to cost him so much that... You know, he would go broke or lose money on that trip. Or someone else wrote a comment saying, I think he said 100 because he wanted to be paid for the drive back.
Not my problem, but anyway.
But like totally, all those things. If he didn't want to do it, he wouldn't do it. And that's the beauty. I like negotiation.
I will say, he was at one of the most popular tourist attractions in Laos. He's getting a ride back, first of all. And second of all, what was my second of all? I don't know. But anyway... By the way, 50,000 kip was still like $4 or $5 to go 3 minutes down the road. Less than.
It was still much more
$5 freaking dollars.
It was still much Australian. It's about $3 US.
Yeah, but I pay in Australian, so that's how much I pay.
And in somewhere like Cambodia, which has probably
the best tuk-tuk system,
more sturdier economy, you have Grab, which gives you the real tuk-tuk price plus probably 50
which
cents.
was like $1.
So we know that we pay too much, but they're also, the Vientiane tuk-tuks have a bit of a reputation for being sharks and getting money out of you, all that sort of stuff. But
so let's get to this comment because it's taken us 20 minutes. So the comment was something along the lines of, you've shown a dark side to you, you're, these people... Well, I don't want to put words in the mouth, but they said shame on you.
They said your boyfriend showed the nice side by paying the extra. You showed a dark side by being by negotiating, you can basically implied that because of your background and what you do for work, you can afford to pay extra. And then the final words were shame on you.
Yeah, but they also mentioned in there that I'm making a profit from their country.
Yes, if you're going there to make a profit from their country, which straight off the bat, let's just say this.
Isn't true.
You didn't.
I didn't.
And you won't.
Nowhere near.
In everywhere we've gone, and this is a little bit of a spoiler alert / in the future we'll talk about YouTube money. The only country that you would have come anywhere close to breaking even or maybe making profit out of was the Philippines.
The Philippines, yeah.
I
still think it was breaking even at that point.
Because it's expensive.
Because it cost half of that to get there with the flights.
Yes, but then you turn around and think of places where we've got more views.
And I haven't earned it anywhere near as much, but that's a future topic.
CPMs and money in different countries is interesting.
Definitely, but I made the decision to
got really good at this lately.
reply to her and explain my point of view. And it was a long message, and we'd basically
done this twice recently.
Yeah, we basically replied with this:
authenticity, honesty, and I'm going to smack you down a little bit because
you said was rude.
You've been rude to me, so I'm not going to be nice to you about it back.
But we were kind of nice.
You were non-confrontational, but in a way that kind of said, sorry, I'm not putting up with this comment.
Yes.
This is why you're wrong.
Yes. So again, I can't reference it because it's gone now.
She deleted it, yeah. Or they deleted it.
Neither do I, but we'll get to that. So we kind of replied, and I said, actually, it's been many instances where I've paid extra money.
Here's all the links.
Here's the links. I linked all the videos, which was quite a handful. And I said...
And we always do.
Yeah.
We tip so often.
I wouldn't say always.
We tip. We tip.
I don't even like the word tip. We don't tip. We just let them keep the change or pay them a little bit more for the service. We don't tip because we're not American. I don't like the word tip.
True. We don't say hehere's
a tip. We don't do that.
For bringing me my food. We don't say that. Yeah, you're right.
If we've bought a bag of oranges in Laos for $1.70, we'll give them $3 and then say keep it. Like I don't like the word tip.
We round up.
Yeah, but
a lot.
Anyway, so I explained that. I explained that I was confused as to why she thought I could afford these things because I literally can't. And I addressed the comment where she said something along the lines of, I've made a profit by coming to his country and making videos. And I replied and I said...
The least you could do is pay him more money than it's worth.
and I replied, and at that point in time that she commented that, the original offer he asked for 100,000 kit wasn't even what I made from that video at that point.
Because Lao tanked.
Well, yeah, because the videos and Lao, no one's watching them. So for her to say I've made a profit, I had to pay to get... Anyway, we're not going to go into it, but we had to pay for the flights. Then on an entry, there was a $90 entry fee.
$30 per person.
No, it was 40. It was 40, which
they changed it when you got there.
Yeah. So and that's US.
Another thing, if you're going to Laos, by the way, all information online says $30 for the visa on entry. It's 40.
Yeah.
There's paper signs up now saying, oh, it's 40 by the way.
And it's 20 for Chinese and other people.
Chinese, and that's it. It's 40
just Chinese.
40 for everybody else.
Yeah. Which for us is $80 or $90 Australian or something. I did the conversion.
It's like 65 Australian.
60. Anyway, so it was more than that, obviously, because it's Australian. Just to get in the country. Yeah. And I haven't even made that from the videos yet.
Your visa costs more than what
I've gotten from my videos.
Our videos have made.
So I haven't made a profit. I haven't even covered the entry fee to the country.
Transport, you forget. I mean, the funny thing is, we probably paid more money in ATM fees in Laos because you can only get
way more
kip out at a time. We put a million kip out at a time, which is like 10. I think you get $100 out at a time, and that's it.
Yeah, and we had to pay like $10 every time we took money out or something. $5, $10. I don't know.
Like $2, but it's still the same thing because you got to get money out.
Here's $10
because you got to get money out so often.
Yeah,
like we probably paid more in ATM
fees than I got from the video. So I had to be like, look, I'm confused as to why you think I make all of this money when I literally don't.
Yeah.
And I was just a little bit disappointed that someone who had shown support for me in the past had turned around and be like, you won't let yourself get taken advantage of. And I don't like that. I don't like that.
So the main point of that is I think it's important to talk about hate comments and things like that. And you get plenty of them that talk about your appearance or that you talk too fast or that they just don't like you because, whatever reason, they don't like this bitch, whatever, like that sort of stuff. You get that sort of stuff. I get on my TikTok all the time. Like
TikTok is a
cesspool.
TikTok is the worst.
It's a cesspool.
It's the worst.
But because I'm not on Josie's, it's not Josie's channel. I kind of get really harsh to people in responses because it's just my little play thing. But those sorts of comments are like, it's important to understand that when you comment on what a creator does, really understand the context. And I think the main takeaway for the viewers here is that even if some creators tell you that they're making good money and that things are great and life's good, unless they're kind of giving you an income report of some sort, they're probably not making what you think they're making.
But I find it really weird that they're saying that they earn more than they earn. Like, I find that strange.
I think there's a little bit
Are we
of...
just honest? Like, are we the only people who are telling the truth?
No, I don't think that.
I'm confused.
I don't think that. I do think that there are a lot of people... The travel industry is a weird one because there's two types of vloggers in this space for this thing, where you've got people that want to be as authentic as possible and say, this is my journey. This is what it would be like if you were there behind the camera instead of Michael, for the viewer. This is what life would be like if you came with us on these trips.
Yeah.
Right? And then there are channels, and this is completely fine in the context of if you're doing this, you want to make that sort of content, it's completely fine. I'm not throwing shade at this. It's just not the style that I like to consume of this is the perfect travel day.
Yeah.
Like everything went well. We don't film when it rains. It's blue sky in the background. We stay
Always.
somewhere for a week because we're going to make one video, but it has to be the perfect day. And sometimes we might need to go out and reshoot things because they're not perfect. And I think those people who make those sorts of videos might have a tendency to over-exaggerate how things are going.
Yeah, okay.
Because it sells the product of we're traveling the world and we're carefree.
Yeah.
Because some people want to...
But I'm like, I'm traveling the world and I'm not carefree.
I'm traveling the world and I'm losing money every day.
I have cares.
Yeah, but I think that's what it is, right? Like a good example is like probably one of the people who started this sort of stuff is Los LeBlanc. And most people will know who that is. And I don't think he's ever been like not transparent in the way that he does things.
Yeah.
I don't think he's ever been not transparent in the way that he does things, but he totally 100%. Hang on a second.
Why?
Just got to adjust myself.
What have you done?
No, I was just making sure the microphone was still on. He 100% like has never, I don't think, clickbaited people or don't think like, I think he probably has clickbaited people at some point, but he hasn't clickbaited people. I don't think he's a bad dude, personal life aside.
Yeah, I was like, you don't even know him.
My point is like, but the videos he made that got him big were like highly cinematic.
They were like the idyllic.
Perfect. Like here's me and my 5 good-looking friends and their good-looking
bikinis.
girlfriends. We're all on a boat and life's perfect and it's
Yeah.
amazing. But if you've traveled Thailand, you probably negotiated for that boat. Someone probably ripped you off. Like,
Yeah, true.
Or tried to rip you off. It probably like
May have rained.
It may have rained.
A
It may not
separate
have been the
day. You didn't go
perfect
out.
day.
You didn't go out on the day you wanted to go out because it was rainy.
Totally. You might have got sunburnt. Like you might have had to wait an hour and a half to see the fish. You might have to wait for the cloud cover to pass so you can get the blue crystal waters.
It just reminds me of El Nido, my video, because we filmed even though it was pouring rain.
And it's more than okay to make content that's perfect because like that's a perfect legit niche in travel is to show the perfect travel day. I think it's totally fine because at the end of the day,
There's a time and place for it,
there are some people that sit at home that can never travel that might want to see the perfect travel day because they might never get to have it.
Yeah.
So I'm not throwing shade at it at all, but there's the two types of creators in that instance that won't show those scenarios and will show those scenarios. So when we talk about people saying how much money they make, they may very well be telling the truth.
I don't think many people say it,
I do notice a lot of people do sponsored videos every video, and there's no way companies are paying them as much money as they've quoted you for one video.
Yeah.
For singular videos.
Yeah.
Every week.
Yeah.
Because they're not getting the views to make that much money.
Yeah.
We kind of know our prices pretty well because my business background and marketing background, and then
I've been on social
been in content for a while before this.
I did Instagram for ages
niches.
with sponsorships.
Yeah, so we kind of know that these people are probably taking cuts on what they could be earning.
I feel like we're deviating from the To round out from the comment is
It's called the Tangent Podcast.
yeah, this is it's gone on a different direction. But yeah, so I kind of replied in a nice, respectful way, and they actually deleted it before I got to read. They replied, and they actually deleted it before I got to read it. But I saw a preview, and it was basically saying,
Yeah.
"Sorry, I only just saw your reply now." They basically said, what did they say? Thank you for explaining your side,
Your point of view.
Your point of view. It shows
If
your
my comment offended you, cut off.
Yeah, so
Because the
they said
notification didn't tell you anymore.
They said if it shows your professionalism in your
Yeah.
channel if my comment offended you, and then I didn't get to read the rest, and then it was gone because they deleted it. So I
Yes.
haven't had a chance to reply to them, or I don't even know their name off the top of my head to even write to them. But that's basically what.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the end of that chapter.
Yeah, that's the end of that. I think we just wanted to talk about that because you don't get that much hate compared to other like big YouTubers. Like I'm talking like your million subscribed ones, like Drew Binsky the other day.
Oh yeah, but they're on different scales,
I don't-
and also that was justified. He
Totally.
completely tricked people to watch his video.
Speaking of, I'm going to give him some props because I watched every single one of that bloke's videos for years, but recently he like made a video that was like visiting the cannibal tribe of Papua New Guinea. And I'm going to interject here. My mum's born in Papua New Guinea.
Yeah,
People don't know that about me, most likely looking at me.
yeah.
My mum was born in Papua New Guinea. My grandparents lived there for a long time. Most of my uncles and aunties on my mum's side were born in Papua New Guinea. Mum lived there for like the first 12 years of her life. That's a long time, right?
Yeah, that is.
So a little bit in me, like, it's kind of like he went to New Guinea and he found a random tribe. And because there's like 2 or 3 cannibal tribes left in New Guinea, a lot of them were back in the day.
Yeah.
But he stereotyped the country. He was like, these guys are cannibals. And they're like, in the video, they're like, no, we're not. We're just a normal tribe.
Yeah.
And then he still called
Yeah.
it the cannibal tribe. And
yeah.
still like tried to make it a video about that. And all the comments on his
All the
community
comments.
posts were like, F off. You clickbaited us.
Yeah, they
Like,
did.
Screw you.
They said I'm disappointed.
You haven't had anything like that, that's what I'm saying.
Well, because I don't want to do anything like
I
that
know,
either.
but you haven't had any
My day will
moments.
come.
Your day will come.
I'll
but-
make a mistake by accident and I'll get roasted.
But I mean, in this instance, you did something that some people took an offense to, and you got a comment flamed for it, but you haven't had anything that everyone took offense to yet.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll happen one day.
Yeah.
But basically, yeah. I mean, views wise, we don't really
This is an important
care.
subject.
Yeah, we don't really care that the views aren't there right now because we wanted to go to Laos. And honestly,
This will happen again in the future.
it will happen again in the future. And
on purpose.
And we knew that Laos wasn't going to go well.
Totally, we
we
researched
knew,
it.
but we wanted to go anyway, and we did that. And I think that's important.
You will never see us go to a country just for views. You will only see us go to countries that we would go to if YouTube
Anyway.
travel vlogging wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
And on top of that, you will never see us not go to a country because it won't perform well.
Yeah.
Brunei is probably the biggest example. There is probably 2 or 3 videos with like a lot of views in Brunei, but I did my research before we went there. There are hundreds upon hundreds, probably close to 1,000 videos that have worse views than Lao on them
Really?
in Brunei. And I was a little bit like, we're still gonna be worried and hesitant. Like you make the video because you want to go to the country, but you're still thinking. Like you're still dreading sometimes, like
You're like,
the video
I know
coming
this isn't
out.
going to go well, but
Yeah, because you know it's not going to do well.
spent so many hours making it, and I went there.
And
Yeah.
when the Lao video came out, both of us were kind of like, oh, well, whatever happens, happens. We enjoyed ourselves. We had a
Yeah,
great
honestly,
time.
Lao was a random
yeah.
hidden gem for me of 2022.
It's ironic that the series that will be seen by the least people
Was like one of my favorites.
was one of the best places that I went to.
Yeah, I agree. Totally.
I really enjoyed myself in Laos. And I think a small part of that also is we were so burnt out in Vietnam.
Oh,
We were mentally exhausted, and we got to Laos, and
we just kind of
for full
yeah.
disclosure, before we got to Laos, we'd planned on making like 2 or 3 more videos than we did.
I think it was like 3 or 4 more videos than we
And
actually
then we
did.
got there and we were like, nah, it's the end of the year. We're just going to enjoy ourselves. And weirdly enough, we really did enjoy ourselves.
Yeah.
And then made better videos as a result.
Yeah, definitely.
And then it kind of, I think, for both of us, it flipped like, okay, in the future, there has to be more of a balance. Would never be 1 video a week because...
Well, I mean, maybe one day, but not in any foreseeable future. I don't see myself doing
But
that.
the every 2 days thing, it's great for YouTube growth and productivity and all those sorts of things. But being able to stop and relax and enjoy ourselves was incredible. And even on the filming days, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it so much.
Yeah. I mean, I do find myself like having respect for people who go to places even when they know it probably won't go well.
I think we've been wrestling with this a lot.
Yeah.
We've been talking to each other a lot about, does a channel die if it doesn't get views? What happens to a channel if it doesn't get views? Because this is kind of the first instance that this has happened since you kind of blew up, I suppose.
Oh, I wouldn't call it blowing up.
It is blowing up. Getting 116,000 in 1 year is in the travel niche. When you look at the hundreds of other channels out there, it is blowing up. Okay. That's not saying that you're. That's not saying that you're. I think you're special, but that's not saying that you're more special or more valid or more important.
Yeah, I think that's what for me else. It sounds like when I say that stuff. I'm trying to be.
That's not what it means. It's just a fact. If you got like 30K in 1 year and then go on, I blew up, I got 30K, I'd be like, okay, calm down, come on.
Yeah, chill out.
But it is a fact. And someone will come along and get 250K in their first year.
And we'll probably look at them and be like, wow, they're blowing up.
And I'll say, that's blown up. And then I'll say, I retract my comments from the second podcast.
Yeah.
But that's kind of we had a great time, we rested, and it was a better video as a result. And I can definitely see us taking more of a balance into content creation in 2023.
Yeah, but also
than we had
like
this year.
The way that we filmed, I just can't get over this video that I did, the road trip on, where I really liked it. Like the way we filmed was different.
I want to be humble. I don't want to say I blew up. I can't get over this video I did.
Well, I made it. Like, I think it's different.
You're proud of it.
My subscribers made me in a way. Like, I still made the content for them to subscribe to, but in this video, I made this video, and it was one of my bests.
Yeah, totally.
So I don't know. I knew it wasn't going to go well views wise, but for me, it was a learning experience, and it was a different style of filming. It was a different style of editing for me, and I really took the fact that I knew I wasn't really going to get any views to like play around with stuff like that. And like I said, like if you're a travel channel, or I don't know, but if anyone who goes to somewhere who does YouTube who knows that it's not going to do well for them, but goes anyway, like more power to you.
Yeah, But again, if you only go to places that get views, equal power to you. But understand that, like, you don't.
I wouldn't do that.
I think you pull away from becoming a travel vlogger, and you're just an entertainment channel.
Yeah, true.
When you do that,
I would never do that.
But there's so many ways
everyone makes different choices.
Totally.
That's the thing. Like everyone has different morals. Everyone has different choices. Everyone wants different things. What's your point?
We hope that people find you in the future because they want to travel with you to these places and see these places and know that they're going to get they're going to get wherever you go, and you're going to make it fun. They know what they're going to get when they click on the video.
Yeah.
Whereas I don't know if this is a whole other topic, so you can tell me whether this is another video or not when I start to make this another podcast. Sorry.
Yeah.
Travel
it's
vlogging.
Another podcast.
Travel vlogging and views. I might give the abridged version. Travel vlogging and subscriber growth and views is so dramatically different than a traditional YouTube channel.
Oh, this is a completely other episode because it's so hard to
nothing.
Yeah, it's a lot in depth, and you need to like explain some things.
Yeah,
that's a whole different episode.
The short version: subs don't mean as much to a travel channel. Of course, subscribing helps, and you want the subscribers.
Everyone
don't not
unsubscribe.
Subscribe. But a channel's subscriber count doesn't necessarily mean as much for a travel channel as it does for a tech review channel or something like that. Because some people will subscribe to you because they want to see content from you in the country they found you in. Either they're a local or they're like for Thailand, for example, lots of Westerners watch Thailand content and then don't care when you go anywhere else. Because that's just the way travel channels work. Now, what affects travel channels more is time in the game.
Yeah, different podcast episode.
Sorry.
Not on this topic whatsoever.
Subscribers is a good marker of how well you're going. Time in the game is more important for consistent views.
Yeah. So I think what I actually got some questions on my Instagram, moving along from that and I asked people what they would want to know. So I think like at the end of every episode at this point, we might just answer some questions. That way it kind of keeps it interactive and whatever. So we got a couple of questions. We'll just keep it to two because this is a long one.
You guys can reach out to us with questions, by the way.
Yeah,
in the future.
so-
we'll say about that at the end.
So the first one we got was, do we plan on traveling into retirement? Well, are you? Because that's next year.
Yeah, I'm old. We get it. I'm 32. I'm almost 33.
You are.
So hopefully some people do nice things for my birthday.
Well, I stole your Christmas present, so
Yeah, you
I have
did.
to get you
I haven't
something.
got a Christmas present. I'm all alone in this world with no Christmas present.
I'll let you know, it's a mouse, but I've taken a shining to it because it's really good for editing. It's better than my Mac mouse. Anyway, moving on. Do we plan on traveling into retirement? Do you want to kick us
Yes.
off? Yes?
And maybe not
Wait, what?
This is why I thought we'd have differing opinions. For me, maybe not full time, like in the way we're doing it now, but I don't see myself being a person that I think that eventually when you go home, start a family, build the house, all those sorts of things, I don't ever see myself stopping traveling.
Yeah.
When the kids are old enough to travel.
I do think they meant doing what we're doing now.
But also, like my grandparents are a good inspiration for me.
They are.
Not now because they're like significantly older. They're approaching older. Sorry if you're listening, but in their 60s and 70s, they would go. Sorry, there's a bug on my face.
Yeah, you just blew into the microphone.
Yeah, sorry everyone. They went to India. They went to Sri Lanka. They went to
That is
South America.
awesome.
They would spend probably 4 to 6 months of every year traveling. Now, that's the result of an era where you could they have a single income and they could afford to do that in retirement.
That's
Isn't that insane?
That's insane.
With 5 kids.
It's a different world
with
now.
5 kids.
Oh my.
I know, right? We got one dog and he cost me $400 today. He had a vet's appointment back in Australia. But I think something like that for them, I definitely could see myself going home eventually when the time's right to start a family. Low-key, I could see myself having a family whilst living in an overseas destination until they hit the age when they're ready to go to school.
I think we have, I don't know how I sit on that. That's the thing.
That's something that I'm happy to compromise on. But I think for me, like at retirement age, I definitely would see myself, if I was physically able and mentally able, traveling half the year. If the money's there, physically and financially and mentally, if I can do it,
Yeah,
I don't see
definitely.
myself stopping. I think traveling into retirement.
Isn't that what people do in retirement though? They finally go, oh, I'm retired, and then
Yeah,
go
but-
on holidays?
People can afford it. Like,
Yeah.
there are lots of people that are older that are in retirement that can't afford it or don't want to and have the desire to, would rather sit at home and do other things.
Yeah.
But that's where I sit on that. In terms of traveling into retirement, look, let's be real, pie in the sky, honest stuff here. If YouTube grows for you and my business continues to grow for me and content creation does its thing, who knows when retirement is?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like right now I'm kind of limited on
You might be,
What
you might be
I
making
can
vlogs
make-
till you're 95.
yeah, I'm kind of limited right
if
now.
the money doesn't go up.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't be doing it anymore because I can't afford it. I'd be getting a
No,
job.
you don't do it for the money though. Do it for the love.
Well, I don't, but it has to be a point where you have minus $10 in your bank account and you can't afford a flight to the next country where you go, okay, I have to go home now because
No,
I've
I
made
agree
zero
with you.
money.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's obviously anyone can run out of money. So yeah, like I guess like I don't see myself stopping. I think I haven't thought about that far. I just think. I mean,
I'm more
feeling
of a long-term planner than you are.
yeah, I'm feeling a little bit older in the last couple of months than I have forever. Actually, never have I felt this old. But I haven't. I still have quite a few years in me where I'm not thinking about kids. I'm not thinking about that stuff. Like that's
Yeah.
not what I want to do for
Same.
a long time, I guess. And it's so funny because I always made fun and I was so upset my mum was like an old mum. Like, sorry, mum, I know she's listening. But like, and now I'm probably going to be her
Yeah.
age when I have kids. But anyway, moving on. So yeah, I don't see myself stopping traveling now. I haven't really thought about the future,
But you're
which
not
is
gonna
my
be
problem in
vlogging-
life in general.
You're not going to be vlogging when you're 45 is the main thing. You're not going to be making travel
Well, I don't
vlogs.
know. Am I?
Well, who knows what content even looks like at that point
yeah.
in time. But
Who knows?
But I think like the ideal would be like if things go well for you with content, of course you still create content, but travel vlogging on the road, traveling full time like now, I don't think that's something you can do for the rest of your
No,
life.
definitely not for the rest of my life. Not full time like this, but yeah. So the other question is it annoying to live out of a suitcase, and do you have to ditch things when you travel along the way? I
are-
would say it's so annoying to live out of a suitcase.
And I don't care.
You don't care?
We are so far on the opposite end of the spectrum here, and I
don't
would say
get how
that
you
this
don't
has
care.
caused arguments for us.
Definitely, because I don't get how
What
you can
doesn't?
just... So funny. I don't get how you can just throw things out like...
I have no attachment to any of my things that aren't like the things I need to.
But I feel
run
like my
business.
things are more expensive than yours. Like a pack, like
No, you got
I found
upset when I threw my shirts out.
because I don't want to waste things.
There we go. That's the point.
I don't like wasting money. I have a pretty bad money mindset coming up from growing up, how I've grown up and what I've learned. But like a bottle of foundation is like $80. So for me, I can't throw that out.
See, I look at it as opportunity costs, I guess, and return on investment. If you have $250 worth of things in your bag that cause you to be over the requirement of baggage when you travel, and then you have to pay an extra $60 for bags every time, then after 4 flights, you've paid for more than what those things are worth in extra things. So it costs you more money.
Look, I'm going to be honest. I'm so far into the sunken cost fallacy. I've spent money on it. I'm going to write it out.
But you'll now end up, because you have that extra stuff in your bag.
Also, don't talk to me like, oh, you have paid extra for things. Your stuff's in my bag too, because I have a bigger bag and a hard bag. You have a soft bag. So you make me carry your things,
Yeah, but
which
I
means
pay
my
for the
bag's...
extra luggage.
Do you?
Yes.
Oh, thanks.
I never make you pay me back for that. I always cover that.
Oh,
It's my little way of helping you.
guys, I didn't actually know that.
You only pay for your base ticket. I always pay for all the extras. And then when I
Okay, well, I'm not going to get mad anymore.
and when I say this is what you owe me, I just do whatever the ticket price was.
Oh.
Yeah.
Then why do you get mad at me for going over with my bag?
Because I have to pay for it.
But I have your stuff in my bag.
Yeah, but like we're much better now.
Oh,
we,
yeah,
we were
much better now.
60 kilograms together.
Yeah. You got a new bag. You threw out your luggage.
I threw so much stuff.
You threw out
I made
so much of your stuff. Then you threw out your luggage bag and got a smaller one.
Yep. I've limited myself drastically. I've dropped.
I threw out nothing. No, I'm kidding. I threw out some stuff, which for me is a lot.
There are things that I would have thrown out by now if you'd let me.
Yeah.
I mean, like my jeans, for example.
No, you might need them.
I bought a pair of jeans with me.
You may need your jeans.
No, listen to me here.
I am.
I wore them. Chicken. That's our little thing.
No one knows what that is. You can't say that on the podcast.
I am is. Do you want me to give away our secrets?
Yeah.
I am is chicken in
Indonesian.
Malaysian and Indonesian.
And so every time he thinks he's so funny.
I am A-Y-A-M.
And so every time I say I am, he's like chicken because it's so anyway, moving on. This is a long one, so we have to wrap it up.
The jeans, I brought black jeans with me. I wore them to New Year's Eve in Bangkok 2021, like 3 days after we landed.
And
I haven't worn them since, and they're so heavy. And every time I like go to clean my bag out, I'm like, Josie, I'm just going to throw these jeans away. She's like, no, you might need them.
You may. And now we've thrown away.
I've worn them in over a year.
And now we've thrown away these shirts. And I look back in the photo I was doing, and I was like, I missed that shirt. I really liked it. And he threw it out.
Yeah, because you didn't need it.
I need it because now I want to wear it.
For one photo.
No, for walking.
My point is, to answer that question, I have no attachment to anything in my bag.
So I will say that
I understand that you have attachment to heavy things like your hair straightener, hair dryer thing.
That's the one thing I don't have an attachment to, but the plan was to send that home and we never did. That was literally the plan.
No, the one you got now.
Huh?
You have to have one in your bag, not the one you sent home.
No.
Your Dyson.
Yes, the package for the Dyson's the heavy part. I wanted to send that home.
But I'm saying in general, like I'm sure there are plenty of girls out there that wouldn't travel with a hairdryer.
No, there's literally not. I'm telling you right now.
I don't know about that. I reckon there's plenty that
I'm
wouldn't.
telling you not. There is 2% of girls who don't want to affect the environment and I'm telling you 98% of girls will travel with a hairdryer.
And all the products and stuff that you travel with.
I have no products for my
Now
hair.
you do, but when you came out here, you brought heaps.
Because I asked you what to take to Southeast Asia and you had no clue, so I took everything.
You asked a man what skincare and
Well, then don't get mad when you
makeup
gave me the wrong
products.
answer. Anyway, moving on. So if you have any questions for us and want us to answer it at the end of a podcast like we have tonight, you can email. So right now it's thelayoverpod@gmail.com.
Yes.
Is that right? So
thelayoverpod@gmail.com.
Yep.
It'll be in the notes.
Or we have an Instagram from this podcast. So that's the layover.podcast. So you can DM us your questions there. Let us know if you do or do not want us to say your name.
Let us know if you don't want us to say your name, because in the future we're going to say so-and-so has given us this question. If you don't want your name said, say, I want to remain anonymous, and we will keep you anonymous. Otherwise, you get named.
So, and then we've put our respective Instagrams and everything down
Members, you guys can comment on this post in the membership tab in YouTube, and you can ask questions there too.
If we put it there, we're figuring out what we're going to do for members, how we're going to like talk to them and communicate.
If there's a way for members, no, they'll be able to comment on the post that has the link to this.
Oh, yeah, this one. All right. Well, that was a good episode too.
Ask us questions.
Ask us questions. We might not even answer them like that. We might do a whole episode on your question or your topic. So send them
If
in.
you give us a juicy one, yeah, we make a whole episode.
Yeah, and like I said, nothing's off limits for us.
These might be chaotic at the start, guys. We're finding our feet, which is why we're doing a handful of them without filming and without kind of a proper structure. We're sort of finding what works and what doesn't. So your feedback on these are greatly appreciated. Now, we luckily had a topic tonight on how to give feedback constructively without being horrible. We talked about that earlier with your comment. So give us some feedback on what you thought on this. If there are things about it you didn't like.
Sass me, I'll sass you back. No, yeah.
If you thought we were too chaotic, which that would probably be my feedback. It felt a little chaotic. Again, we're fully transparent, right?
Yeah, I guess.
We're fully transparent. This is the content creation process.
I think you talk for too long if we're being fully transparent.
Hey, now we're getting into personal shots. So
anyway, that's the end because
give us some feedback.
This is too long. That's the feedback. All right, we'll see you in the next podcast. Thank you for listening. Thank you for not watching because we haven't filmed this one. But stick around and follow the podcast if that's how podcasts work. Click the follow button, or I think it's favorite or list or something. I'm not sure. Do that, and we will see you. Oh, you will hear us in the next episode, episode 3. Think you say goodbye?
Bye, pod.
Bye, pod.